Hello and welcome. Good to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Bassi. The presidency has assured Nigerians that despite the insinuations of a number of media organizations, there is no need for apprehension over the health of President Muhammadu Buhari. In a statement, the senior special assistant to the president, Garba Shehu, says President Buhari's absence at the Federal Executive Council meeting of Wednesday was a last-minute decision. Otherwise, the cabinet and the public might have been alerted in advance. As eager as he is to be up and about, the president's doctors have advised on his taking things slowly as he fully recovers from the long period of treatment in the United Kingdom some weeks ago. It says President Buhari himself, on his return to the country, made Nigerians aware of the state of his health while he was in London, and that full recovery is sometimes a slow process requiring periods of rest and relaxation, as the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, intimated in his press briefing after the FEC meeting on Wednesday. The statement assured that President Buhari has not abdicated his role as Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria, as he receives daily briefings on the activities of government and also confers regularly with Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. State governors have appealed to the federal government for the release of the second tranche of the Paris Club refund to enable them keep up with their financial obligations in the states. This was part of resolutions taken at the National Economic Council meeting in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade has details.
The governors in their submissions said the first disbursement of the Paris Club refund had enabled them pay salaries and meet other financial commitments. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun briefed the council on preparations for the next disbursement. The governors expressed appreciation to the president for the relief the Paris Club refund has brought to states.
It cannot be seen as if the Paris Club is a favor done to states. These are monies belonging to states. So the monies are belonging to the states. So what we are saying is that it was illegally taken about 12 years ago. So we want a refund of it. We are only asking that the money be refunded to the states to cushion the effect.
The Minister of Finance gave the balance of the excess crude account as at April 26th as $2.2 billion. Council applauded the Finance Ministry, whose efficiency unit has saved the country 17 billion naira, and also urged states to emulate the ministry by establishing efficiency units to enhance operations and block leakages. Council was briefed on 4 of the social intervention programs of the Buhari administration. Council resolved to upgrade state coordination units and end obstacles affecting successful implementation in states.
Natural Resource Fund balance as at 31st March 2017 was 70.9 billion. Ecological Fund balance as at that date was 33.6 billion. States and local governments now to keep their share of the Resource Fund and Ecology Fund for use for intervention as the need arises in their respective jurisdictions.
Council expressed grave concern over the ravaging effects of the meningitis epidemic in parts of the country and directed the Federal Ministry of Health to intensify its intervention efforts to contain the embarrassing epidemic while advocating for increased funding for health.
National Security Advisor Babagana Mungunu briefed the council on the security situation of the country.
Basically, the security agencies have commenced a general crackdown, a nationwide crackdown against gunmen, cattle rustlers, armed militants, as well as other restless militia groups in the country. The governors in their response have acknowledged the efforts of the federal government in trying to curb these activities. They've also agreed to collaborate further with the security agencies in dealing with these issues.
The National Economic Council meeting was presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
A validation meeting of various anti-corruption agencies and the civil society has adopted a strategic document to efficiently and effectively tackle corruption issues in the polity for national development. Ogechi Paul spoke with the Solicitor General of the Federation and other stakeholders on the new phase of the anti-corruption war.
The National Anti-Corruption Strategy document is a harmonization of collated observations and concerns of stakeholders into a policy document for a sustainable fight against corruption in all ramifications.
This strategy, which has now been adopted by all stakeholders, is one that includes all the anti-corruption agencies.
Three broad contexts are highlighted: the fact that corruption has been pervasive and systemic in the country, identifiable gaps in the complementary institutional and structural strategies in the fight against corruption, which must be closed, and the determination by the present administration to situate the fight within the bounds of democracy and the rule of law.
The international community, of course, would take us much more seriously because we now have a proper strategy in place that guides our processes.
If we have this clearinghouse here, I think it will go a long way in bringing the dramatics personnel that have been, as it were, that have been having issues with themselves under this umbrella. They can sort out themselves and present a common front in the fight.
The policy thrust of the National Anti-Corruption Strategy rests on the prevention of corruption, enforcement, sanctions and recovery of proceeds of corruption, public enlightenment, and the campaign for ethical reorientation. Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
As they continue to recover from the devastating effects of insurgency, people in the Northeast have resolved to lend their support to the federal government's crusade against corruption. They made this clear at a sensitization program organized by Community for Peace and Corrupt-Free Society, a non-governmental organization. Ibrahim Jibril has that report.
It is widely believed that corruption contributed to the poverty level in the Northeast, making the sub-region more vulnerable in times of insurgency. This sensitization program, organized by Community for Peace and Corrupt-Free Society in Nigeria, to enlighten people on the need to rally round President Muhammadu Buhari as he waged total war against corruption, therefore attracted unprecedented crowd of participants from across the sub-region. They all speak with one voice: join Mr. President and fight corruption to the end, get out of poverty, and make the Northeast and Nigeria as a whole immune to insurgency and other related violence.
These corruptive tendencies and enhance peace and security to evolve a good governance.
Peace education is to be taken as a subject in our secondary education and the tertiary institution.
Speakers at the event also advised authorities to borrow a leaf from the advanced world by employing accountability, transparency, and good governance as mechanisms to fight corruption.
The days are gone when we just fold our arms and watch government officials do whatever they want to do and go away with it free, because our country must move forward.
We are proud that he is making a success of it, and we are boarding all Nigerians to support him rather than frustrate him.
Papers were presented on good governance and the impact of corruption in Nigeria. In Gombe, Ibrahim Jibrin, NTA News.
Speaker, House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has assured Nigerian women of the passage of the Gender Equality Bill before the National Assembly. He said this when he met with a delegation from the Conference of Female Parliamentarians of State Houses of Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Unko has that.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara noted that the Gender Equality Bill is already at the committee stage. He implored state legislators to engage the National Assembly in ensuring that they reach a consensus on areas of conflict. The Speaker identified indigenship for married women and citizenship for spouses of Nigerian women as some of the areas of concern that should be addressed.
I want to thank God that today we have you who have these platforms either in our state assemblies or in the National Assembly. By National Assembly, I mean both the House of Representatives and the Senate, where you are serving with distinction. And so there's no excuse.
Like some
countries have quota system for female contestants. And those quota system takes care of all the challenges that women go through.
Dogara also used the opportunity to call for the adoption of Option A4, an independent candidacy in Nigeria's electoral process. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
State councils of the Nigeria Labour Congress and Union Congress have been urged to mobilize workers to participate in the 2017 May Day celebrations in their respective states. Chairman of the 2017 Joint May Day celebration, Comrade Peters Adeyemi, while briefing the media, says the rallies will afford Labour the opportunity to contribute their quota to national rebirth, economic revival, and chart the way forward for policies that are pro-poor.
The May Day is an auspicious occasion for the working people to reflect on their struggles and make their demands. We shall use this opportunity to renew the call for the review of the national minimum wage that is overdue for review, considering the current economic trends.
The current economic situation, the theme for the 2017 May Day celebration is Labor Relations in Economic Recession and Appraisal. As part of activities to commemorate May Day celebration, members of the organized labor embarked on a road show in Abuja to create awareness on the upcoming Workers' Day celebration and to show support for government drive in the fight against corruption. Emmanuel Ayimiro reports that all is now set for the Workers' Day celebration slated for May the 1st.
Workers' Day celebration affords the working people the opportunity to reflect on their struggles and make new demands from their employers where necessary. Part of what is expected to be talked about on the day is the need to renew the commitment of labor to the promotion of better packages for workers, social safety nets for the poor, and support the fight against corruption.
We have always stood against corruption and all these tendencies that we have supported. We have carried out several rallies in support of good governance and against corruption. We are for it. We are in support of it.
One of the ways to fight corruption is for them to give us a living wage.
Still in the spirit of Workers' Day celebration, disengaged contract workers of Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited staged a peaceful protest to appeal for government intervention over their non-payment of terminal benefits by Mobile since 2012. The retrenched workers are asking for the implementation of 30% retrenchment benefit agreed after a meeting with government representatives and the oil company.
This protest is all about the 1,444 disengaged service contract workers in ExxonMobil.
The retrenched workers want urgent government intervention as workers mark May Day. Emmanuel Ayimiro, NTA News.
Agencies concerned with regulation and control of expatriate quota system have been asked to judicially carry out their duty and be vigilant to stop foreign companies from shortchanging Nigeria. The Chairman House of Representatives Committee on Local Content, Emmanuel Ekon, gave this advice at a meeting with Fine Techniv, an oil and gas company operating in the country. National Assembly correspondent Rabi Musa reports.
It was the discovery of the Committee on Local Content that the oil and gas company, FMC Technip, was operating with a commensurate number of Nigerians in their payroll as provided for in Sections 1 and 6 and other relevant sections of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman Emmanuel Ekon said the committee observed with dismay that the company has more contract staff Nigerians than those directly employed.
If the Minister of Interior and the Immigration Services are doing what they are supposed to do, we wouldn't have been coming here shouting on the IOCs to do the needful.
Managing Director of the FMC Technip Company, Michael Hunt, promised that the anomaly would be corrected and said the company had increased the pay package of the Nigerian workers.
What the team has done since the last meeting is we've had two pretty constructive meetings with NCDMB where we have discussed the plan to the plant to regularize.
The FMC Technique company, which has been operating in the country since 1999, has till June 2017 to correct the violations and report back to the committee. Rabi Musa, NTA News.
For more on Nationwide, we now go over to our Lagos Network Center, where Ademola is standing by for more reports. Ademola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Good afternoon and warm welcome to Lagos. The significant role of public-private partnership in infrastructural growth and the sustenance of financial efficiency as tools for robust economy. This was the consensus of stakeholders who converged on Lagos for the 2017 Punuka Annual Lecture. Abolade Salami has the details.
Governments at the three tiers are traditionally saddled with the responsibility of providing infrastructure for the country with revenue from taxes. In line with these, stakeholders at the forum noted that over the years, there have been a decline in infrastructure development due to increase in population, poor maintenance culture, and corruption in procurement process. They pointed out that the lack of basic infrastructure such as housing, water supply, and standard transportation have negatively affected the country's economic development.
We have to deal with inefficiencies, waste, and corruption.
As far as infrastructure was concerned, it was a captive market of only government.
While admitting that government alone cannot invest in commercially viable infrastructural projects in the face of other social needs, they called for more public-private partnership in order to enhance infrastructural developments.
Globally, PPP has gained wider acceptance as a sustainable strategy for the financing and delivery of public infrastructure. It is rooted in the fact that government revenue cannot be relied upon as source of funding for developmental projects.
For the actualization of this idea, speakers stressed that there must be a synergy between governments and its private partners. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
A state-of-the-art Safety, Information and Operations Center has been commissioned at the Lagos Port Complex. The managing director of the Nigerian Ports Authority says the aim of the information center is to assist in providing and disseminating information for effective ports operations. She was speaking at the commissioning in Apapa, Lagos.
The managing director of the Nigerian Ports Authority, Hadiza Bala Usman, while inspecting the Safety, Information and Operations Center, explained that the introduction of the Customer Center is apt in line with the Presidency's directive of easing the flow of doing business at the ports. She further stated that the aim of the center is to assist in raising operations at Nigerian ports to a higher pedestal in order to achieve progressive ports.
If your complaints are attributable to any of the terminal operators, we'll draw the attention of the terminal operators and will provide you with the feedback. On the information center, there's a level of automation whereby the safety briefings are provided and information on security is also provided.
The information center is designed to provide basic information to port users within and outside the ports community.
The customer care center provides you with response to your complaints. So some of your complaints that you want to access the ports to get, you'll be able to get it from the customer care center. So we encourage all stakeholders and all port users to use our customer care center right before the entrance gate into the Lagos Port Complex.
There were goodwill messages from stakeholders in the maritime domain.
It's all about coming together to achieve the best practice.
We also take care of, a situation, where people can ask questions, drop suggestions, and the security of the port will eventually be secured.
Their facility is expected to work 24 hours, while an electronic information board has been mounted outside the Premier Port to provide basic ports information.
The House of Representatives Committee on Economic Recession has assured Nigerians of plans to revive moribund businesses across the country in order to place the economy on the path of stability. Chairman of the committee, Olabode Ayoride, made this known when he led members on a visit to the Lagos State Governor, Akinwumi Ambode, in Alausa, Ikeja. Victoria Olabode reports.
The chairman of House of Representatives Committee on Economic Recession, Honorable Olabode Ayorinde, said members of the committee are in Lagos to meet with stakeholders and experts in the industrial sector on how to transform the giant commercial enterprises that had contributed to economic downturn of the country. He expressed optimism that the current administration will provide a lasting solution to various challenges confronting the major establishment of the economy. This, according to him, will take the country out of recession by next quarter, as predicted by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
The way we are going about it, all agencies of government, not only Central Bank, the Ministry of National Planning and Budgeting, the Federal Ministry of Finance, the National Assembly, which we represent, all hands are on deck. Even the budget process is to ensure that we exit the economic recession and we don't return back to it.
Governor of Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode, said the state did not feel the impact of the economic recession because of 60% earmarked for capital expenditure.
We need to fast-track some of these laws or some of our legislations that are really people-driven and also back us in terms of the executive decisions that we take.
He said the state is gradually moving towards 24 hours economic activities that will guard against any worst hits of the economy. In Lagos, Victoria Olabode, NTA News.
The need to foster synergy among federal government establishments in all states of the Federation for national development dominated deliberations at a forum by heads of federal government establishments in Nigeria, Lagos. Lynn Lenike reports that some heads of federal establishment serving and retired were honored at the event.
The body heads of federal government establishment in Nigeria was inaugurated for the exchange of ideas among heads of federal government establishments in all the states of the Federation. Its main objective is to seek solutions to common problems affecting the various establishments. The platform provides social interaction among members.
There's still every need for agencies, government to interact among and between themselves. And that is why we're having this kind of forum to exchange ideas and in any case on government policies and government activities.
Chairman NAFO Heads said the organization decided to honor some of its members for their contributions to nation building in order to encourage members to do same. Former Zonal Director, NTA Lagos Network Center, Elizabeth Aina Scott, was also recognized.
I hope to see all the federal departments in Lagos State coming together as one, because the best way to achieve success is through synergy, and we can achieve much if we can come together and approach issues, holistically.
Other desiring recipients expressed delight at the honor done them, pledging not to relent in their contribution to national development. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Lydia, for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Ademola. Attention has again been drawn for unity and harmonious coexistence among Nigerians to enhance national development. This came as a matter of importance at a public presentation of a book titled Wazobia Centenary Farm. Omenka Amarachuku has the report.
Wazobia Centenary Farm is a chronology of events that spanned over 100 years from the emergence of Nigeria in 1914. The novel not only objectively examines the evils of colonialism and the menace of corrupt leadership, it also painstakingly reveals how poor attachment to destroy society. However, the book is also a wake-up call for Nigerians to key into the development roadmap of the Buhari administration in fighting corruption and promoting good governance for nations building. Former Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chukwuemeka Ezefe, commended the author for his hard work and historic in-depth research piece of art that will stand the test of time. Dr. Udenta is the book reviewer.
In Wazobia, a centenary farm. You and I are dwellers in a farmland. We're all animals. but at the same time, we wear the attributes of humans.
The author, Humphrey Kanayo Akolisa, says the book will be of interest to all categories of readers.
It's a story you can read just as ordinary story, and as well you can make your own interpretations or read your own meanings into it.
Wazobia Centenary Farm has 30 chapters with 230 pages in Abuja. Omenka Amrachuku, NTA News.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Prison Service, Ahmed Jafar, says pilot projects on harnessing biogas have commenced in Port Harcourt and Kirikiri prisons to reduce the use of firewood for cooking. He said this during a meeting with the Director General of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall, Goni Ahmed. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports.
Conceived as an initiative to address land degradation and desertification, boost food security and support communities to adapt to climate change, the National Agency for the Great Green Wall is seeking the partnership of the Nigerian Prison Service to further tackle desertification.
We have begun about 3 pilot projects for biogas, namely in Port Harcourt. We have advanced, in Kirikiri we have also advanced to the use of biogas. And if we are successful, we intend also to harness this biogas option for the cooking.
So we have come here today to partner with you and see how do we together work towards looking for alternative energy.
Nigerians were also advised to embrace alternative sources of energy and plant more trees to safeguard the environment. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
In a bid to complement government's efforts in providing healthcare services and developing education, Bayes University Abuja has laid a foundation for the construction of its teaching hospital. Permanent Secretary, Federal Capital Territory, Babatokwe Ajakaye, who performed the ceremony on behalf of Musa Bello, said the project will not have come at a better time. Abdullahi Musa Suleja has details.
Since inception of Bayes University Abuja 6 years ago, the institution continues to maintain some levels of progression, which its board of management said their dream has always been coming true. The university recently secured approval for accreditation of some science courses, among them medicine. Babatokwe Ajakai said the university is progressing beyond expectation, considering the time it came into existence.
This marks the beginning of a seamless provision of highest possible standard of medical care and production of high-quality medical personnel, which will culminate in the provision of a world-standard healthcare facilities for the teeming population of the FCT and indeed Nigeria.
Chairman Board of Management Ahmadu Awokar, who said management has fulfilled, promised to comply with FCT master plan and building guidelines. Dr. Yusuf Dattibaba Ahmad is the Pro-Chancellor of the university.
If you consider the amount of capital flight that the teaching hospital of Bayes University will prevent, then the outflow of the best brains that we have in Nigeria that we can retain to offer humanitarian services, to offer research, and then again to recycle knowledge in Nigeria, it's like we are opening a whole new world.
The university, who started with students little above 1,000, now boasts of more than 4,000 students. In Abuja, Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
Government has reiterated its commitment in the reduction, if not total eradication, of illiteracy in the country. Deputy Director, Basic and Secondary School Education, Mrs. Opeyemi Ariba, stated this on behalf of the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, at an award ceremony for the winners of the 2016 My Rainbow Books National Creative Writing Competition for Children. Mrs. Ariba said government will continue to give key emphasis on the UBE in its continued efforts to addressing the issue of out-of-school children.
Federal Ministry of Education has put in place
some programs aimed at promoting creative abilities, critical thinking, reading, and writing in the entire citizenry, particularly in pupils and students, especially at the basic level.
Mr. Frankie Bezim, Special Assistant Political to the Minister of State Education, said the ministry is committed to ensuring that the Nigerian child is equipped through the foundation of a solid education to take a rightful place in the world. Wife of Kaduna State Governor Hadiza El-Rufai presented a collection of writings that the children competed for. The 2016 My Rainbow Books National Creative Writing Competition is organized for children between the ages of 5 and 16. With large percentage eating more of starchy foods, Nigerians have been implored to strike a balance in their food intake for a healthier living. While discussing Nigerian food and eating right, guests on Good Morning Nigeria say moderation should be the watchword in our eating habits. Aisha Ubali reports.
Nigerian rich cultural diversity also speaks volume in the food that is found in different regions. With different delicacies of various regions, a food survey proved that some regions by nature eat healthier than others, especially the southeast, south-south, and southwest. The guests were concerned about the eating habits of Nigerians, with an estimate that most Nigerians eat 70% starchy food, with 30% of other class of food combined. Professor Gambo of University of Maiduguri advocates that Nigerians should imbibe the habit of fruit fast at least once a week, which cleanses and detoxifies the system.
Certain people in the north that ugu is very important, and I'm happy people have actually accepted it in some. Moringa contains about 15 times more calcium than milk, and it also contains about 17 times more vitamin C than even oranges. So we now said every day you can put some part of moringa either in the soup or in the salad.
Therefore, my emphasis will be more on advising an individual to eat foods that contain polysaccharide, unsaturated fats, monounsaturated fat.
What are the fruits?
Those are fruits, nuts, fiber containing foods.
Emphasis was also placed on the harvest and storage system of raw food, while Nigerians should increase their fruit and vegetable intake. The guests say Nigerians must take to seafood and white meat compared to red meat for healthier living.
Nowadays, people are conscious of what they eat, maybe due to the awareness and what have you. Really, those that do come in nowadays, in fact, even when you see them taking starchy food, it goes with much vegetable.
So if the right mix of food groups are not being consumed widely by that family or not made available to that child in terms of feeding, then that child will continue to, will be malnourished.
Attributing fertility and slow aging pace to the type of food that people consume, and a reawakening call for families to change their food menu. On the issue of preservatives, the guests recommend that Nigerians should avoid it as much as possible. In Abuja, Aisha Ubali, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll pause for some messages. Nationwide continues after this timeout. Don't go away.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices, to bring about change we must change ourselves by being law-abiding students.
Jesus in the west, Jesus in the north and the south.
Hello, I'm Cyril Stobart. Let me introduce you to my colleague, incisive reporter and vibrant minister of gospel music, Saint Ruben Okara. In the newsroom, we call him the Saint.
Yes! In Abuja! Everywhere you go!
I'd like to invite you to the public presentation of Breaking News. That's a music album by Saint Ruben Okara.
Everywhere you go! Praise be to Jah.
And it's all taking place on Saturday, the 29th of April, 2017, at the Cultural Center, Area 10, Abuja. It's at 4 o'clock in the evening. See you there.
You know, after 4 years of marriage, he still treats me like we're married today. You're so lucky. I am.
I wish I were you.
God, why? Why me?
I wish I was in your shoes. Let us swap positions. We all say these words, but wait a moment. Look beneath the surface. All that glitters may not be gold. The style of Joe may not look good on Peter.
All these boys wearing body hug up and down, making guy left, right, and center. Are they better than me?
You always look mature in your agbada. So what is this you're wearing today?
Your rib-cracking comedy. Professor John Bull tackles another social issue in Copy. Those who wish to be like others.
Look at me going to a supermarket with common 100 naira bread when my mates are buying things worth 35,000 naira.
No two fingers are equal. Every family must live within their means.
Showing at 8:30 p.m. every Tuesday and Friday on NTA Network International and Star Times.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
This is television reborn. Enjoy more than 200 channels. No decoder needed. The real digital TV is here. Star Times Digital TVs.
With Star Times, you're always a step higher. With hype, non-stop entertainment. Watch telenovelas that will keep you glued to your seat on Star Times Novella E1. It's action time for mind-blowing moves that you can only see on Star Times Kung Fu. With E! Entertainment, keep up with Hollywood celebrities' hot gossip. Question no more. IDX got y'all as they reveal the untold. Any day is fun day after school for your kids on Pop. Enjoy your favorite Indian shows in 8 different languages on Star Times Bollywood. Your health, your life. Keep it locked on Star Times Sports Life for tips. Pay 1 month basic bouquet and get 7 days of classic bouquet for free. Subscribe now. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Admission forms for the 2017-2018 academic session of NTA Television College JAWS into its diploma programs are now on sale. The diploma programs are in film and TV production, broadcast journalism, and TV engineering technology. Applicants are required to have at least 5 credits, including English language and mathematics at SSC, NECO, or GCO levels in not more than 1 sitting. Application forms can be obtained from the TV College Refi JAWS or at any NTA zonal centers nationwide on payment of a non-refundable fee of 7,500 naira in bank draft in favor of NTA Television College. Completed application forms should be returned to the office of the academic secretary, NTA Television College, or the center of purchase on or before 28th of July 2017. For further inquiries, please call 0806 980 9807 or 0703 660 7155. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you can be.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexity, identities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend Pal, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kirian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
Welcome back. Coordinators of the National Youth Service Corps scheme have been charged on being proactive in crisis management and media relations. Director General of the scheme, Brigadier General Suleiman Kazauri, gave the charge at a one-day workshop on crisis management and media relations in Bauchi. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports.
The workshop, which is the first of its kind since the establishment of the NYSC scheme, became imperative due to some avoidable crises that have confronted the scheme in recent times. With the team Crisis Management and Media Relations, the management of the National Youth Service Corps scheme noted that certain factors that includes poor human relations and management, overzealousness on the part of some camp officials, negligence and abdication of responsibilities, harboring and suppression of information are major causes of the problems facing the scheme.
One of the best ways to manage crisis is prevention.
NYSC has been going through some controversial issues, particularly during orientation courses, when corps members agitate or when corps members do one thing or the other. And state coordinators would think they cannot handle such situation or talk to press. So this training is just a way of sensitizing them that the press is their friend.
Media is a critical tool and a stakeholder as far as NYSC operations are concerned.
Information or the knowledge that we are getting from this workshop now is going to go a long way to help us to know how to manage our corps members, manage the public, manage our stakeholders.
Similarly, the NYSC Director General inspected the NYSC Integrated Farmhouse in Bauchi.
Members going to agro-allied and annual husbandry, they are going to be in the farmland, in our farmhouse. They will stay here, they will stay for 1 year. After that 1 year, we're expecting them to also set their own farmland for them to be self-reliant.
Sited on 146 hectares in Dungulbi village, the project is part of the NYSC's entrepreneurship program. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
In support of the federal government's efforts to ensure food sufficiency and security, as well as encouraging Nigerian farmers to produce enough food for local consumption, the Abuja Municipal Area Council has put in place machineries to enable farmers in the council reap bumper harvest. The chairman, Abdullahi Adamu Candido, made this known at the flag-off ceremony of the 2017 planting season in Gui community in Abuja. Habiba Oladipo has the details.
Rains begins to drop, it is expected that farmers will use the opportunities to commence farming activities in earnest, so as to have good nurture for their seedlings. But with the challenges of inadequate fertilizers, improved seedlings, modern equipment and techniques, the chance for local farmers to produce quality agricultural produce at a commercial scale to tackle food security seems impossible. These challenges necessitated intervention by the Abuja Municipal Area Council to educate farmers and provide them with the basic equipment.
The council has also expanded the fish farm at Waru, approved acquisition of demonstration farmland. We have also approved the establishment of veterinary clinic and awarded various contracts with bearing on agriculture, such as fencing of poultry farm and renovation of slaughterhouses, engaged in public and private partnership skills acquisition scheme at APO.
The FCT Minister, Mohammed Musa Bello, represented by Director Agric, Federal Capital Territory Administration, Musa Abdurrahim, joined other stakeholders to laud the initiative by AMAC.
Going back to land as a deliberate policy of government will surely improve food sufficiency and food security in Nigeria, which will ultimately dovetail into employment generation for our vibrant youth population.
Truly, it is timing at the beginning of the farming season of 2017.
Farmers from different communities used the opportunity to exhibit various farm produce while the Gu people displayed their rich cultural heritage. In Abuja, Habib Oladipo, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide. Zainab is standing by at our Sokoto Network Center with more reports. Zainab, good to see you.
See you too, Lydia, and welcome. As continuous voter registration commences across the country, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says all necessary measures have been put in place to ensure a successful and hitch-free general elections in 2019. INEC Zonal Commissioner in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara states, Amina Zakari, stated this in Sokoto at the flag-off of the voter registration exercise. Sadia Umar Digi completes the report.
The idea of the continuous voter registration is to update and validate registered voters. The Federal Commissioner in charge of Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara State, Hajia Amina Zakari, said the Commission is poised to deliver effective and efficient service to the people. Hajia Amina Zakari explained that a conducive environment will be provided by the electoral officer in charge of the INEC local government offices, with the consent of the people of the area for the exercise. Outlining the operational guidelines for the continuous voter registration and permanent voters card distribution exercise, she said the Commission has devised new ways to have a free, fair and credible elections that include e-collation and e-tracking, among others.
These are few of the innovations aimed at demonstrating the integrity and transparency of the Commission's election results collation process, thus further building the confidence of electorates in the electoral process.
Earlier in their separate addresses, the INEC Administrative Secretary Sokoto Office Muhammad Abubakar Sadiq and Chairman Wamako Local Government Council Ahmad Kalambaina advised the political parties to mobilize their supporters to take advantage of the exercise. They called on the people to support the exercise to enable all eligible voters register. Some eligible voters expressed delight with the opportunity given to them by the Independent National Electoral Commission to exercise their civic responsibility. In Sokoto, Sadia Umar Digi, NTA News.
UNICEF has donated 850,000 doses of vaccines to Sokoto State in a bid to tackle the outbreak of meningitis in the state. This is coming as the federal government also donated large consignment of vaccines to the state to help contain the spread of the epidemic. Muhammad Nasir completes the report.
State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambwal announced the donation of the vaccines while flagging up the mass vaccination of 2 million people against cerebrospinal meningitis in the Ngishune local government area of the state. Represented by the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Balarabe Shehu Kakali, the governor explained that since the outbreak of the disease, various measures have been taken by government, including establishment of isolation centers for the treatment of patients of meningitis. It is clear that over 300 teams of medical personnel are currently engaged in the vaccination exercise across the 23 local government areas of the state.
Today, the epidemiological curve is coming down. As we have said, it has plateaued since 2 weeks ago and it is coming down. We are going to the second phase of the fight against meningitis, which is that of reactive vaccination.
Representatives of World Health Organization, Dr. Suleiman Abdullahi, and that of National Primary Health Care Agency, Alhaji Usman, pledged their continuous support and assistance to the state in containing the epidemic. Chairman Dengishune Local Government Council, Moret Ntesalla, and the district head of Dengi, Umar Maazu, all applauded the effort of the state government in addressing the various health challenges facing the state. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
And as it from here, it's back to Lydia. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Zainab. Muslims have been reminded of the obligation of observing the rights of neighbors. Imam of Community Juma'ah Mosque, Wuse Abuja, Ustaz Tajuddin Mohammed Bello stated this in his sermon at today's Juma'ah prayer. The Imam said Islam forbids Muslims to harm neighbors, but must protect them from any danger. He said 160 households are neighbors to a Muslim regardless of their faiths.
Allah says we must discharge the responsibilities and the right of our neighbors. And regardless of their religion, regardless of their tribe, regardless of their inclination, the point there is that long as he is your neighbor, a neighborhood in Islam comprises of 40 houses by your left and 40 by your right, M40 in your front, M40 in your back. You can see that the whole cycle are your neighbors.
The sermon also touched on the importance of observing fasting in the month of Sha'aban, the 8th month in the Islamic calendar, which attracts immense reward. We now go to global news. U.S. President hails Chinese president over his role in North Korea crisis as protests heightens in Tunisia over corruption and unemployment allegations. Ogechi Paul has more on global tidbits.
U.S. President Donald Trump has hailed President Xi Jinping of China over his role in handling North Korean crisis, describing him as a very good man who loves his country. Admitting the possibility of a major conflict in the North-South Korean conflict, Mr. Trump is advocating a diplomatic solution. The UN Security Council is meeting to discuss North Korea as China threatens sanctions against North Korea if it conducts further nuclear tests. Palestinians are warming up for a showdown across the occupied territories in solidarity with over 1,500 prisoners on hunger strike in Israeli prisons. The planned day of rage was called for by Fatah, the political party of Palestinian Authority, President Mahmoud Abbas, and the National Committee to support the prisoners. The solidarity march is intended to lead to the nearby military checkpoints across the West Bank to confront Israeli soldiers. And finally, on global tidbits, protesters in Tunisia have booed its Prime Minister Youssef Chahed during a town hall meeting in a southeastern region replete with protests and a general strike. The protest is coming 6 years after a revolution ignited by grievances over joblessness, corruption and perceived marginalization of the country's talakawas. As global tidbits, Ogechi Paul, NTA News.
Sports update is next, and Ayodeji Makinde has that.
Arrangements have been concluded for the maiden Nigerian Armed Forces 21.5 kilometers half marathon championship in Abuja Saturday, with the final rehearsals held Friday. Military and paramilitary agencies, as well as athletes, officials and media partners met to put finishing touches for a successful outing which will be beamed live on the NTA from 6:30 a.m. Saturday.
What we are seeing is something that is embedded in the service for us to do well in any way we find ourselves and outshine each other positively.
The 19th edition of the Nigeria Polytechnic Games, Nipoga, is set to commence Saturday at the sports complex of the Federal Polytechnic in Nasarawa State. Promoters of the Games, A3 Foundation, say the competition is expected to contribute towards the development and peace among the students of the 81 participating polytechnics in the country, as about 4,000 athletes compete for honors in 13 sporting events until May the 6th.
And we're looking forward to great sport lovers saturating the event and making it a fiesta. The youths are very ready. They have done what they need to do. They've proven that they are ready to stand by grassroots development.
The ability of stakeholders to select the right teachers who will not depend solely on government for the funding of the programs and activities of their federation elections in the country has been emphasized. Adeola Omokive reports on contributions of the parliamentarians on the issue.
The parliamentarians, in their various views, asked questions on how to put in place the right leadership in national federations and how to prevent federations from running to government to always fund its program and activities.
Don't you think that members of the sports associations should first of all agree on what should be the goals for each federation?
In Nigeria, we have had talks of so many sports policy, but do we have anyone that is guiding us? So the federations are just left to be rigmaroling.
What would you say is the single biggest challenge that is not allowing our federations to be sustainable entities in Nigeria?
The lack of a clear-cut plan of being able to generate funds for the federation. Two, the infiltration of people that have no love for the sport.
Don't you think that if you have all these things,
there will be less of ministry setting guidelines. If every federation has done its constitution, nobody will even talk about a guideline.
Maybe the ministry can also take a look at this issue of lack of constitution among the federations.
It therefore behoves on national federations to come out with constitutions to ensure it has a well laid down plan for developing its sports.